Welcome back. We're here live at the Excellence Logistics Learning Center. And just real quick, man, just give me a rundown of all the things that are happening here.
So I'm looking at the board too. The purpose of the Exodus Logistics Learning Center is going to be a facility that encompasses not all aspects of transportation, but a few that a lot of people are familiar with. So first is the dispatching piece, which what we talked about earlier, to be an independent freight dispatcher. The next piece we talked about was the freight broker, someone who arranges for the transportation of freight. That's also at the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, I'm going to say ELLC because it takes forever to say Exodus Logistics Learning Center. Um, Next, we deal with government contracts. So we go over from a basics perspective, helping people set up their SAMS number, their cage code, their UEI for government solicitations and contracts and set asides. Okay. And next is the intermodal piece. What intermodal is dealing with the ports. Drivers going to the ports, picking up containers, and shipping them to the distribution centers and warehouses. So, and then we also have trucking 101, where we show people how to apply, get their CDL Class A and Class B,
Okay.
because we got people here who have Class B commercial driver's licenses who can drive box trucks or dump trucks, right? And then finally, we deal with warehousing and distribution. Another name for that piece is called the 3PL, third party logistics. Third party logistics companies, they handle like inbound freight, they transload containers, offload the freight, cross dock it, and then LTL companies pick them up and ship them out. They also do freight procurement. So those are the things that we deal with. Going back to intermodal meaning going to the ports, grabbing a chassis, and intermodal is in transportation, there are different modes of transportation, right?
Okay.
Air, rail, sea, trucking. So to go from one mode, and if one shipment gets shipped from China over to the U.S., it has to go through several modes of transportation.
Okay.
So intermodal is moving from one mode of transportation, air or sea, to another mode of transportation, trucking, to get to its last mile destination. That's what intermodal means. Right?
So, like if you're in California, you're like San Diego, LA, places like that, or Miami or New York. Those are other places that have like those ports.
Right. There are ports all over the eastern seaboard as well as the west coast. So we got a port here in Virginia, Portsmouth, Norfolk. We have ports in Baltimore. We have them in Jersey, New York. We have them in Savannah. We have them in Charleston, Jacksonville, down to Miami, Port of Manatee, over to Louisiana, down the Panhandle, over to Houston and Bayports, over to Los Angeles, Long Beach, up to Seattle. So all the ports. We touch all the ports in that intermodal piece. And then warehousing and distribution, we talk about inventory management, warehouse management systems. We talk about how to first in, last out, or last in, first out. When the freight comes in, you need to palletize it, put it on racks, mark that stuff, and then ship them out with LTL companies. LTL stands for less than truckload. When those companies come in, they grab that. And we talk about storage too with LTLs and 3PLs. Okay. So that's in the warehousing and distribution piece. So,
All right. So, how did you come up with the idea to do all this?
um, I don't know really. I thought dispatching and freight brokering would have been enough for me, but I said I'm involved with other people in the government contracts. I'm on a what is it, a Facebook group and a committee that we talk about government contracts a lot. We meet and have these meetups on Zoom about government contracts. So I said, well, let me get the basics because we talk about advanced stuff in that. I'll be here all day if I try to explain it, but I give the basics here. So if someone had an interest, a remote interest in government contracts, speaking of which, the government has a lot of money and they solicit for services by individuals who have like either certifications or they have a SAMS registration, a certification like an MBE or a DBE certification. DBE stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. MBE stands for Minority Business Enterprise. Any type of certifications qualifies you for certain set asides and certain solicitations of services from the government. You have to know how to play their game in order to get their money. Now we're looking at, I've seen contracts and requests for quotes and requests for proposals and requests for information as high as 15 million to 20 million dollars.
Oh, wow.
So that's the government contract side. And then trucking 101 obviously teach you how to get your own trucking authority, class A or class B, buy a truck, and then get on the road. So
So, if you're within 100 miles of here,
Mm-hmm.
you can you can learn how to be a dispatcher. You could work as a dispatcher. You can start your freight broking company. Then you can learn how to get the government contracts. Okay. Then you could start working with Intermodal because of all these different ports around here. And if you have some family members, cousins, or kids, or anybody like that, you could then help them get their CDL. And then you could start the third party housing.
Third party logistics, storage, warehousing, storage, distribution, cross docking, transloading.
And you actually have a student who kind of piggybacked this whole path.
Exactly.
She's still doing it, right?
That's correct. She has you're speaking about. I'm assuming you're speaking about Cherie.
Absolutely.
And she is a multimillionaire. She has 2 warehouses in the Savannah area. One is 10,000 square feet. The other one is 44,000. She will be up here later this month or early next month to speak to a colleague of mine who has a warehouse in Suffolk, Virginia, 100,000 square feet, because she wants to piggyback off of him and understand what his workflow and processes is in the warehousing 3PL space.
But you literally have a student who's gone through this whole thing.
That's correct.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. So this isn't something that you're just like trying to piece together. This is something that you literally help students work through each piece of. Because I know that you have students that do intermodal, like Miss Guillory.
Right. Kyra, she's the intermodal dispatch intermodal queen. She's out of Houston. She runs Houston, Louisiana. I'm going through the panhandle, Louisiana, Jacksonville, Charleston, and a little bit here in Virginia. So, and she's great at what she does.
Great.
So,
and another student who started with you.
Correct. Yep.
So if you're within 100 miles of here, it's what, every
the weekend classes here.
Yeah.
Every first and third weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. So the dispatcher side. Right now we're doing the dispatching side on Saturdays and Sundays from 3 to 5, and then the freight broker side, Saturdays and Sundays from 6 to 8. We are going to roll in government contracts, intermodal trucking, and warehousing at some point in there, or I might spread it out during the week. So I have to figure that out.
So if you're a good, hardworking individual that likes to be around good people and wants to learn the old way, which is in a classroom with
Right.
pens and paper, this is the perfect place for you.
It is. Yep. And get ready to take notes and get ready to ask questions, because that's the heart of learning, asking the question. And there is no such thing as a dumb question. Well, there is. The only dumb question is the one that's not asked. So
if you want to be around real people in a real room, this is the place to be.
Yep. I think I'm real. Let me pinch myself, see if I bleed. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm real. Yeah.
Your social security number says you're real.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So Exodus Logistics Learning Center, 3101 American Legion Road, Suite 21A, Chesapeake, Virginia, 23321, area code 757-515-1684, and then the email exoduslogisticsllc@yahoo.com.
See you later.
Thank you.